lot of doors will open if you just step out of your comfort zone. If you stay where you are, you're going to be stagnant. There's no room for growth. So getting comfortable being uncomfortable can be a good thing, and it's a great challenge to have for yourself so that you can help yourself move to the next level that you would like to be.
When I think about this, I go all the way back to just even when I was thinking about taking that plunge to create my business, period. And I remember, and I am not a very emotional person, but I remember when I decided I was really going to go all in and I was really going to do this to the best of my ability and I was just going to go for it. I remember my stomach hurt so bad. And I remember
Yeah.
just getting nervous at just the idea of really doing it. So one of the things that helped me, because I am more of a logical person, and I think we sometimes need to understand why do we feel this way. Anytime you're talking about something unknown, your body is going into a survival mode. And it is literally a survival mode of, helping you to survive. Fear is one of the things that we are all in some ways born with because it's there to help us preserve ourselves. If you're in the dark and you don't know where you're at and there may be a cliff, you're going to get fear. And you're supposed to because we're humans. And that is actually there to kind of tell us to turn around and get our butts back at home or wherever we need to be safe. And that is literally how we are wired. So fear is there to help preserve us, to help and keep us safe. So a lot of times when we feel scared and we feel nervous, it is because we don't feel safe. We're, in that perspective. So you do have to sit back and you have to understand that part because it may be a little bit easier because it doesn't go away. It doesn't really ever go away because we're
Does not.
biologically wired to feel that way. So I always have to sit down and ask myself, well, why do I feel nervous? Why do I feel scared? Why am I, not wanting to go forward? Um, is this something that's really going to, hurt my survival? In which, obviously, with the business, it's not. I mean, there's obviously things that I think we all think about, like, oh, what if we go all in and we lose it all, or it's not as successful? But that isn't the same as you're not here the next day. So we have to, I think that's important just to take in and to remember because we as humans are wired to have fear and to run the other way to our comfort zone for survival purposes. That won't ever go away. But what does happen, you can get a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think really that just comes with practice. I'm not necessarily one that I always want to be speaking in front of people or I always want to have a room or, always want to be face forward. And I'm always going to try to, if I do not have to go that route, then I'm going to try not to go that route first. But if I see that that doesn't work, then yes, you need to pivot. You need to try other things and go with that. So that's the first point that I really wanted to get into is that it's natural for us to be nervous and scared and fearful um, of things of the unknown.
You just have to do it. I know when Clubhouse first started, I became a blogger for one of the blogs introducing people to Clubhouse. And that very first one, I was so nervous. I had to call my mom. My mom had to say, Shantae, just push enter. Because I was so nervous. There was so many people that could have possibly read it. I had never really put anything out like that before. But once I did it and I actually gained a few followers, it was a great and satisfying feeling. But when I tell you I was scared and nervous, I was very uncomfortable in the beginning. It was like you said, scary. However, I did it. And now I do blogs and I do newsletters, and because I became comfortable with it, it is something that is an accomplishment for me. So it just makes me um, progress forward, and I want to help other people do the same thing.
It's easier with each time you do it. Now, with that, I will also say you don't want to get too comfortable with your new comfort zone. So it's kind of like once you made that first step to finally make that breakthrough of what you were kind of fearful of, you want to get comfortable, but then you're going to have another opportunity that's going to present itself that you're going to have to ask yourself, hey, now I'm nervous again because this is a new experience that I'm not very comfortable in. And that's really just how we grow. In general, that is how we grow. So when you look at people and they're too nervous to make those steps, they are actually in a stagnant state. And opportunities won't be coming in as plentiful as they can be. And that could be financial, it could be just to meeting other people who's going to be able to network you into other places. But it's so important to grab those opportunities as they come. And I do suggest that people take baby steps because I'm not one that's going to be like, no, just go ahead and throw yourself in the pool and you're either going to sink or swim. Because I think if someone did that to me, I'd probably sink. But you do want to take intentional baby steps to where you want to be. So just know that you're always going to be presented with opportunities for you to get a little bit more comfortable with actually being uncomfortable. I'm going to take it to a money a money standpoint because I am I try to be very mindful of where I want my business to go and grow. And you will get to a point where you may actually, in that place of stagnation, if you're not willing to become a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable, where you're actually going to stop the growth of your business financially as well. So there's plenty of different examples of that. One I will say is just sometimes even having doubt in what your skills are and what you bring to the table will kind of keep you from either asking for what it is that you need to ask for. Sometimes it will even keep you from taking the role altogether because maybe you're not comfortable with the role. And it's not because you can't do it, you just maybe haven't done it enough where you feel like you're validated to take that role.
This is perfect. I last night sent a proposal over with the highest price I've ever sent a potential client. And it was a little uncomfortable, the number, but I also know what the potential client needs, and I know how much time it's going to take, and I know what kind of strategy. Okay, so even though this particular role I haven't packaged previously, I know everything that has to go with it. My uncomfortableness was with the pricing, as you stated. That can, especially in this virtual world, can be very competitive and very overwhelming, but you do have to know your worth. So I know that myself, and I'm sure there's other people out there who has to get comfortable with knowing, you know what, I can do this. This is the price that I'm going to stick with. You know, you got to have your boundaries as, but the pricing is big. That can be very, very uncomfortable when you send a proposal, but you just have to go ahead and do it and know that your skills, you're qualified for it.
That is very true. I know when I probably sent my very first high ticket proposal, I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable, honestly, even saying it. But yes, I was very uncomfortable. I still remember that day, and it turned into really a whole negotiation. So I was just uncomfortable probably for a good 15, 20 minutes. But again, I also knew that that's what it should be, uh, that I was going to give that value. And, once I got in there and doing the work, I know I did not shortchange myself. And I think it also pushes you to make sure that you're doing everything that you can over and beyond as well to give to your clients. Because if someone came to you and they're asking for a certain amount, then you're going to have higher expectations for that person, or for that price point. I'm not going to say that person, but for that price point, because we all want to make sure we're receiving what it is that we're asking for. So it is a two-way street. You have to make sure, again, that you're analyzing why you're uncomfortable and take those steps to, um, make sure that you can do this and that it's going to be also valuable, for the other person. One thing that I've learned from a lot of my different mentors or different entrepreneurial people is that we all have a gift. And this is kind of like a universal theme that I've gotten from several different people, but we all have a gift, and we're using our gift and we turned it into a business, but to serve others. So for me, I love hearing back, hey, you really helped me. I was lost and confused on this journey. But yeah, you really got it right, and I feel the clarity. I'm moving forward. I'm doing well in my business. I love that. I'd be lying if I said I didn't love that. And for me, then it's like, okay, if I'm not showing up, whether it's Clubhouse or Instagram or doing a live workshop, then I'm not serving the people who really can use my talent, um, and that can really use my gift. And it's the same way even with the entrepreneurs that uses my virtual assistant agency. Same thing. There are people out there who definitely need lovely occasions and etc. But they don't know I exist if I'm going to stay in my bubble. They just don't know. And I know I can help them. I know I can help get all of their back end organized so they can live the entrepreneurial life that they truly want to live. Because realistically, I mean, most of us, when we get into having our own business, we don't want to feel burnt out. We don't want to feel wore out. And we want to scale. We want to make money from it. So I know that my ideal client, they're out there and they're just perfect for me and me only, but they don't know me unless I am putting myself out there. So you can look at it in both ways, but either way, in order for us to serve who we are meant to serve, for me, those things are uncomfortable, but I have to make those steps. So whether it means, hey, I'm asking for such and such amount, that's uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable conversation. Or it's, hey, let me show everybody where I'm at and what I do, and let me do it with purpose because I really do feel like this is a gift that was given to me, and this is the way for people to find me. You're going to get in those uncomfortable situations all the time. I think when you're a business owner, they just don't go away. Because we are our worst critics. We are. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna judge how we look, and oh my gosh, that one little piece is out of the way, and this and that, because we're just hard on ourselves and we have high expectations of ourselves. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily a bad thing, but there does come a point where you just have to do it. Action over perfection. with practice, it gets more comfortable. It does. And that even goes to like even when you have a team. I mean, you're going to have uncomfortable conversations because that's just how it is. And as you get the practice, I'm not going to say you look forward to having those conversations, because you don't. You just become more comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable. So I never want to tell anyone that, that feeling goes away. It doesn't go away. You just, with practice, get more comfortable with becoming uncomfortable, saying things you don't really want to say, hearing things you don't really want to hear, and making choices that maybe you prefer not to. But you kind of know you have to get to the other side. My mentor was the one who kind of pushed me to do that. And did I want to do that? No. But it helped get that ball rolling. And if she didn't push me to do little baby steps outside of my comfort zone, I would still be in my comfort zone, most likely. Um, so it's very important. Can you do those things on your own? You can. But let's be realistic. If you were going to do them on your own, you would have already done them. So you're paying for a person to encourage you and to kind of push you in ways that you really don't want to be pushed, but maybe you know you need to. But you're like, hey, I'm not paying this person for nothing. So let me do and try their way and their guidance, and let me see how that works. And when you take those steps, then you get some really good outcomes in most cases, or at least for me, I did.
If you do not let go of that uncomfortableness of someone coming in to help assist you and to help your business grow, then you're going to stay where you are. So I had to learn to be comfortable with my own coach, because it was like, you're giving your information about your business, you're giving your information about your ideas, and it's so uncomfortable and overwhelming. But I got through it. And if she didn't push me the way that she did, I possibly wouldn't even be up here, because it was something that I had to work on. So, when you're uncomfortable, for me, when I'm uncomfortable, I try my hardest to go towards that feeling, even though it's overwhelming. And then you'll surprise yourself. A lot of the times, like you stated, it's our own self limiting beliefs that doesn't get you to where you need to be, or to have you stay uncomfortable. But if you walk towards it or just do it, the feeling's going to go away. And then, like you also stated, it's going to come back when you have to go and do something else new, or a little bit out of the realm of what you are normally used to. And it's okay. It's okay. Just go ahead, go for it, go do it, and see what happens. If you do fail, quote unquote, it's just a learning experience. And for you to become comfortable again. So go ahead and try it again, but maybe a different way that you feel more comfortable.
Hey, there's a few things I want to say out of what you just shared. I completely agree. I completely agree. And I remember when my coach, when she came to me and approached me, I just wanted someone to give me advice, just, hey, and I was like, what? I gotta pay you for that? And I was the exact same way. But the results are incredible. Before I had my coach, I did not have an agency. I do have an agency now. I was able to scale. Now, I will say, for me personally, I try not to lead with how much money I'm making, because I do kind of hate when people's like, oh, well, I make six figures and this, and this. So I try to keep that off to the back end. However, I have a wonderful team of, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven right now. And I've had at least a consistent four for the past year. And just having a coach made a difference. Do I feel like I would be where I'm at now if I didn't have one? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just be, if you feel like there's a certain issue that you have, get help.